Okay, got another nuanced thoughts here. Kind of something I've talked about before. And it's political forgiveness. Um, well, actually, I could merge all this together. Uh, Vote shaming on multiple levels. Um, so, we got some elections coming up, and what's going to happen is you're going to have all sorts of voter shaming going every direction. Just as you've had vote shame going now. Like Trump is a disaster, and this would be a very good time for people to sort of extend an olive branch and we can unite. And I get it, because how on earth would you ever have faith in that man? You shouldn't have had faith in him to begin with. But you kind of get a big gust of wind behind you doing that, ignoring the fact of what kind of situation we were in with Biden and Harris. And how much worse is it really? Because to me, the trajectory seemed to be that roughly the same thing more or less was going to happen. So it's not like it's some kind of weird slam dunk, some kind of got you moment. I don't understand the point of being sort of arrogant about this. It was two horrible choices, and, people took issue with the Libertarian candidate. Jill Stein made a few odd decisions as far as the Green Party goes, and I'm kind of stuck halfway between the Green Party and the Libertarian Party myself, politically. So you got the vote shaming. You voted for this person. And just like it was, the last election, well, you voted for, you should have came on stronger for Trump. And Biden and Harris wouldn't have been in there. We wouldn't have had this or that issue. And that's stupid. First of all, how many votes got won? I mean, you're going to do that by, I don't know, several million people? And that's if you believe the results, which I do not. So you got that kind of vote shaming, and now you're going to have the other end of it, the pre-election vote shaming. Like, you got to really get out there and support these Democrats, or to get rid of these people. Like we didn't just have them, and all kinds of awful things were going on. And to me, it looked like we were at this trajectory anyway. He's just a little bit more brazen about it. So you got that, but you kind of have another version of it too, like with the non-Democrat voting, and the people don't support either party. Honestly, they don't. They're not gaslighting about it. And I give one a good example here, and I'll leave them anonymous because I don't want to seem like I'm calling them out or picking on them or something like that, because this is somebody I do have some respect for. I don't always agree with them. Somebody I do have some respect for. Now, I'll kind of paraphrase. Tweet: we should not be listening to people who supported Donald Trump. I don't care if they turned against him now. They screwed over the entire country and humanity by supporting him while gaslighting us about Trump when we tried to warn them. Not entirely, can't really argue against that. And he names these people here, and he even attacks the libertarians. No libertarian supported Donald Trump. It's nonsense. Donald Trump is for war. He's for funding stuff overseas. He's for eminent domain. No real libertarian voted for him. That's like saying a communist voted for a Democrat. That didn't happen. Never. Not once. I don't care what they claim to be. It's never happened. They're a liar. But this is not good advice. This is a bad idea. This is a terrible idea. Because in his defense, I'll give that much away, what his pronouns are, he is just as aggressive against Democrats. He's not a Democrat. Don't mistake him for that. He's made it quite clear he's not. He feels the same way about them. But if he does, what's this saying? So you don't support anybody who supported Donald Trump. So more than likely, I don't want to put words into his mouth, you don't support anybody who voted for the other ones. That's a lot of America. I mean, how are you gonna build anything in a case like that? How are you gonna support anybody, and how are you gonna build anything in a case like that? Because if you're truly against both of them, then you're against. You got to stand the same way against the people who voted for either one of them. So where we are right now is where we're going to stay, because there's no such thing as redemption. There's nothing. Matter of fact, you could make an argument that the whole reason that we have Trump right now is because of the Democrats. So in effect, if you're getting mad at people for making Trump be here, you have to include the Democrats. He probably would not disagree with that. So you can't build anything. We're stuck right where we are. This crap's got to stop. You know, and I get in some trouble too, because there's some commentators that I've been kind of forgiving on. You know, and I do, you know, one of my favorite people, Kit Cabello, Hardlens Media. Shout out to my less than 50 subscribers at the moment. He says, keep your head on a swivel. Well, I do. Just because you forgive somebody and you kind of take, you know, to me, I got a bucket where everything bad goes, okay? And I've taken some people out of the bucket. That doesn't mean I'm not still standing over the bucket ready to put them back in, okay? There's a lot still in that bucket. But the issue here is, if we don't learn some sort of forgiveness and some sort of possibility of redemption, we can't build things. Are you going to create new people? What are you going to do? There's no way forward unless there's a possibility of some sort of redemption. And I'm all about redemption. Check this channel out. All these different things that I'm doing. My company name that I'm working on is redemption. We have got to believe in that, and we've got to try to build on that. That doesn't mean that you trust them 100%. You know, that doesn't mean that you know, leave them with an open knife drawer, you know. You be careful. But you have to be open to the possibility that some sort of redemption and some sort of change can happen. Or there's no point in doing anything. What's the whole purpose of this? Just to complain? Just to yell and complain and throw elbows and knees? I mean, what's this going to progress? We just do this crap until we all die? Or are we actually going to try to build something? I swear people's ego gets too involved in this. Because when it comes down to it, with this mentality here, who do you listen to? It looks as though, and I'm not accusing, but it looks as though it's just like, well, you got to just listen to him. Who else? Or who he decrees you should listen to. Now, he might not mean that. I'm not saying he's meaning that, but that's what it comes off as. You know, I don't want to be some sort of kingmaker. You know, oh, you have to listen to me or whoever I say you should listen to. That's nonsense. We can't build anything like that. We can't do that. My cat Lou in the background there. That's what they sound like when they can't hear how loud they are. But anyway, the point of this is we've got to build. We're trying to make things better. That's the point for what I'm trying to do. So you have to make that decision. Is this going to be a constant fight? Throwing knees and elbows and kicking and screaming and cussing and everything else? Or are we actually going to try to build something? You know, you've got to... I mean, you look at me, or you could probably look back at him too. I'm not going to do that. But you could... I mean, I can look back at my own beliefs. You know, I can... I don't know if I've done a video on that or not, but I could actually do a video of my sort of genesis. And I remember years ago, and I was probably, I think I might have even been too young to vote, but I sort of supported George W. Bush. As a little kid, I remember watching a Disney 35th anniversary. You can still find bits and pieces of that here on YouTube. Ronald Reagan came out. I remember as a little kid, I was just overjoyed to see him. It's just like a celebrity to me. A star. He's a dirtbag. He's a scumbag. He always was. You know, they've all been ever since. Most of the presidents have been. But, you know, I actually was very upset when Bill Clinton beat George H.W. Bush, got elected. Again, too young to vote. And like I said, I supported George W. Bush. Again, pretty much a kid. I was excited about Barack Obama being elected. You know, I always hated Trump. I didn't like Hillary Clinton at all. I liked her even less the more I found out about her, the more I listened to her. I liked Biden a little bit until I found out about him. I watched that clip of him pawing those children and women, and that was something I just couldn't get over. And then I found out more and more about him. But, you know, there's redemption. I'm not the person I was. Just staple this crap to people. I mean, I don't understand. What's the point of this? What is the point of this? And sometimes people are just friggin' scared. It was an ungodly stupid thing to vote for Trump. Ever. And I can say the same thing about voting for Biden or Harris or Hillary Clinton. If you know more than even the ones back before then, but certainly since then. This holding it to people, zero redemption. And you have people, you know, getting off the actual politicians, the commentators. A lot of them seem to be sort of seeing the light. They seem to be. They might not be. It could be yet another grift. I don't know. That's why you don't put 100%, stock in them. You trust them, you hope for the best, and you keep your head on a swivel. But also, when you're a person like me who has, limited tools, and when things are as serious as it is now, I don't know, maybe get off the ego a little bit and think about the big picture, because it's a big picture now. This ain't no friggin' cartoon. I think people really need to look at this. Because I can tell you what I'm going to do, and if people won't get mad about it, get mad about it. That's the beautiful thing about the dirt road that I'm always on. Struggling for everything. I've got nothing to lose. I'd love to have a huge amount of support. I'd love to, be able to do this whenever I want to. Not have to toil away in a factory. Have some kind of standing and some sort of say-so, and people actually listen to what I have to say, okay? But I'm going to say what I feel, and people are going to get mad at me occasionally, and that's fine. That's fine. Put me in that little group. Probably am already, who knows? It's about time we get over the ego, be mature, and extend the same sort of forgiveness that you would need. And that's kind of based on treat others the way you would have them treat you. I have needed some leeway in the past to get where I am now, and maybe I have a long way to go. I'm open to that. I need the elbow room to do that. I need the rope to do that. So I'm not going to ask for that for myself and give everybody else nothing. I'm not going to do that. We've got to decide what matters. What the big picture is. Is it your friggin' ego, this stupid little combat game on social media, Or are we actually going to try to build a new world? Because if people can unite enough on this, maybe we can actually have a revolution. Something to think about.